stronger or weaker?
Well, I think they can't be called weaker. I think the complexity of terrorism has increased. But while in 9/11, maybe the dominant role was of the Al Qaeda. There were thousands, if not thousands, hundreds of Al Qaeda foreigners from all over the world who were there in Afghanistan and then later on in our mountains and cities. But now the role has changed. Al Qaeda has gone down and Taliban resurgence after 2004 started. So it is Taliban dominated now. They are in strength. And the complexity has increased because now there are the extremists in Pakistan society and the Mujahideen group who are fighting who have public sympathy in Pakistan, fighting against the Indian Army in Kashmir. All of them are developing a nexus with each other. So therefore the complexity of the terrorism issue has increased manifold now.
Is the world safer today than September 10, 2001?
I wouldn't be able to say that confidently. No, I think it's a more unsafe place.
Your political opponents often criticize you that your policies led to a stage where Pakistan is being hit by suicide bombers constantly. How do you respond to that?
Well, these are people, whoever says that is totally divorced from reality. The decision, even with hindsight, our decision to join the coalition was in Pakistan's interest first of all. The main issue was, do we want Talibanization of Pakistan? Are the people of Pakistan tuned towards having Taliban understanding of Islam imposed on Pakistan? I don't think so. So therefore, first decision in the interest of Pakistan was to be against Taliban, not in their favor, because we don't want that kind of culture in Pakistan. And then if you analyze the negatives of, had we not joined the coalition, what would have happened? Tremendous negative effects would have been produced. So the decision was very correct. And as far as my tenure of 8 years is concerned, I think we were doing pretty well with terrorism and extremism. We were suppressing them. We were addressing all issues in their own context. It is only after I left that this increase of violence has occurred in Pakistan.
Mr. President, when you were in power, you always denied Osama bin Laden's presence in Pakistan. Now it is proved that he was there. He was living in Abbottabad for 5 years. How do you respond to that? What do you think was missing that you couldn't figure out that he was in Pakistan?
No, I never denied. I always used to say, I don't know. Whenever a question was, where is Osama bin Laden? I said, I don't know. But anyone who said he is in Pakistan, to that I used to respond, how are you sure? Do you have any intelligence? And since he did not have any intelligence, invariably nobody had the knowledge of it. So I used to say, how do you say he is in Pakistan? He could be anywhere. He could be in Afghanistan. So I never said, no, he is not in Pakistan. So firstly that. Now as far as his being caught in Pakistan, yes, it surprises and shocks everyone. It's a clear case whether it is complicity or negligence. I know with all my analysis that it is not a case of complicity. It is a case of acute negligence of the highest order, which needs to be investigated and involve people punished. But it is not complicity, that I am very sure of. But however, unfortunately, it's such a serious lapse that the perceptions are that it was complicity, that our intelligence and army was involved, and maybe they knew about his Osama bin Laden being in Abbottabad and they were protecting and hiding him. If that is not the case, I am very sure of that.
How do you look at war on terror after Osama bin Laden?
Well, I don't see much change. It has been a blow, all right. But these are, as far as the terrorism in the world is concerned, I don't think Al Qaeda is such a monolith being controlled from the mountains by Osama bin Laden, who is not even talking on telephone, talking on the telecommunication links. He had no telecommunication link. He was banking on human couriers. So therefore his ability to work through couriers, hiding in Abbottabad and commanding all over the world is just not possible. So it is, we know that Al-Qaeda is distributed all over. We know Al-Qaeda in Arab Peninsula, in Yemen and Somalia, Al-Qaeda in Islamic Maghreb, Algeria and Mali. We know ETIM, we know so therefore these are dispersed groups operating independently, calling themselves Al-Qaeda. So Al-Qaeda is more a symbol. So therefore when Osama bin Laden gets killed, while it's a great blow, these symbols all over will remain maybe the same and unchanged.
So, US and NATO forces are reducing their presence in Afghanistan, and Afghan forces are taking charge of their own security. Do you think the Taliban will end the violence? Will Islamabad use its influence on Taliban and to force them into a peace deal with President Karzai?
Taliban, first of all, we should know that Taliban also are not a monolith. Taliban, Mullah Omar is Taliban, Gulbuddin Hikmatyar is Taliban, Siraj Haqqani is Taliban, and on the Pakistan side, all TTP, TNSM, Baitullah Masood, who's been killed, his brother is in charge. They all call themselves Taliban, but that doesn't mean they are under one head. So therefore, when we say we are dealing with Taliban, who are we dealing with really? Which Taliban, which group? So while it is important that we deal with Pakhtuns and wean them away from the Taliban, at this moment, even if there is a Taliban group which wants to be against confrontation and go for peace and dialogue, we should deal with them. But I don't know which Taliban are we dealing with.
Most recently, former Taliban ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Habibullah Fauzi, in an interview to BBC said that any peace dialogue would not be successful if Mullah Omar is not on the table, and he also stressed that Pakistan's position and its influence is very critical for these dialogues. Do you think that Mullah Omar and Pakistan are that essential to reach any political accord or a process in Afghanistan?
Yes, I think both are important. Mullah Omar has a great following. Mullah Omar had a government in Afghanistan after 1996 when they swept across Afghanistan, controlled 90%, and he was the one who had his government in Afghanistan till he was defeated after 9/11 and they dispersed in the mountains and cities of Pakistan. And now Siraj Haqqani, as I said, Gulbuddin Hikmatyar, who are old revolutionaries actually, they have formed their own groups. So while I agree that Mullah Omar is important, but when it is an issue of bringing stability into Afghanistan, if some other group joins, we have to go on a three-pronged strategy of military, that is force, political and socio-economic. Now if socio-economically or politically Mullah Omar does not want to deal for peace, then it is only military that ought to be used against him. So that is what my thoughts are.
Kabul and Washington are working to forge a long-term strategic partnership which will allow the US to have an indefinite military presence in Afghanistan. How do you see that while US forces are present in Afghanistan, and how do you see the relations between Islamabad and Washington if they are being deteriorated repeatedly?
Well, Islam, yes, it is terrible. It saddens me that United States relations with Pakistan are deteriorating. In my time, we had good relations. Now we need to, there is certainly a trust and confidence deficit which has been going on since the last 1 year. This has been exacerbated with the finding of Osama bin Laden in Abbottabad, while United States takes it as a case of complicity. Pakistan thinks that our sovereignty has been violated through the military action against Osama bin Laden. So I think these are issues which we need to resolve between the two countries in the interest of war on terror. Otherwise, the loser is both United States and Pakistan and the world, because our joint effort against war on terror is weakened.
About Dr. A.Q. Khan's allegations on General Zulfikar and former Chief of Army Staff, General Jahangir Karamat. And he said that they took millions of dollars in bribes and sold nuclear technology in return. What were your findings when your administration investigated Dr. A.Q. Khan?
Well, these aspersions, I feel, are absolutely baseless. General Jahangir Karamat or General Zulfikar are very honorable people. I don't at all for one moment think that there could be any $3 million passed on to them. I don't believe it at all. Dr. A.Q. Khan has the habit of casting such aspersions, unfortunately, to throw the blame away from himself to others. The fact of the matter is that he did proliferate and brought a bad name to Pakistan in that context.
President, in Washington, Pakistan is often criticized for focusing too much on India. Do you think Pakistan overreacts when it comes to threats from India?
Not at all. It's quite the opposite. Pakistan used to be Indo-centric because, after all, since 1948 we had an existential threat coming from the east. We have fought 3 wars. So that fact is undeniable, that we do have an existential threat from the east, from our very strong neighbor, which we counter with maintaining a strong defensive deterrence force in the conventional as well as unconventional sense. But I have always believed that our attitudes towards the world, towards other players like with the United States, should not be Indo-centric at all. Our relations with the other countries should be on a bilateral basis, irrespective of what those countries' relations with India are. What disturbs Pakistan is when relations of United States, if we may focus on, with India affect negatively relations between Pakistan and United States. That should not happen. But Pakistan has never, in fact, this war hysteria and is always created by the Indian side whenever there is tension between the two countries, not from the Pakistan side.